Today I want to take a few minutes to illustrate a very important point. We've all heard the notion that we are what we eat, or we are what we absorb, etc. However you want to frame that. The reality is we eat a food, we masticate it, we digest it, we assimilate it, we absorb it to the best of our ability, and the life force of that food, the vitamins, the minerals, the macronutrients, the energy that they contain within them, then goes into our cells, into our mitochondria, and then provides us with an equivalent level of life force energy or chi energy. Certain foods are going to do that better than others. And all I want to illustrate here is the notion that food quality does matter. Okay? Food is supposed to give energy and life force. It's not supposed to take it away. So this idea of food versus non-food, I think, is extremely important. A non-food would be the converse of the previous example, and that is eating food that may even require more life force from our internal resources to digest, assimilate, and absorb than it actually provides us. The other thing we have to know and understand is that all foods and all life forms, for that matter, have energy fields. We've all heard of the chakra points throughout the body. So these are basically energy wheels throughout the body that tend, when they're healthy and strong, to have a fairly rigorous rotational element to them in a clockwise fashion. So the more vibration and energy I have at different chakra points, the greater the energy field and the more powerful the circular motion is of that energy wheel in the body. Food is not very different. So if I were to use a simple little dowsing rod here, and it's going to look like, you're going to probably think that I'm moving this thing in a circle, but what I want you to see is that my hand is actually quite still. I'm going to hold the dowsing rod over the food, probably within an inch of the food, and it's going to basically start to mimic the energy field of the food. So the higher the vibrational frequency of the food, the larger the circle that the dowsing rod's going to make. The lower the vibrational frequency of the food, and the smaller the rotation it's going to make. And the only point I'm trying to illustrate here is that we want to make a concerted effort to consume as much high vibration, energetic, vitality producing food as possible, because that's ultimately what's going to give us energy and vitality. So if I hold this dowsing rod over this organic apple, okay, I'll start with it still, and I'm going to let it kind of do what it will. And you can see here that it's making a circle. So I am not doing any of this. The circle is roughly the diameter of the apple. Okay. Now, if we take the snack mix, which has been processed and refined and cooked, and synthetic vitamins and minerals have been added back in, and we do the same experiment, you can see there is an energy field, but it is significantly less. So, if I told you that every cell in your body is regenerating at roughly 1 billion per second, and the food that you eat, digest, assimilate, and absorb will ultimately become who you are, then it's in your best interest to choose foods that have a high energetic frequency versus foods that do not. And that's the only point that I wanted to illustrate today.